Hi, welcome to Lab Equipment and Measurement. Items that are starred will be used in measurements. There are 34 pieces of lab equipment that you need to know and how to use them. An apron is a chemical resistant, generally rubberized apron used to protect your clothing. A beaker, notice it is starred, so we will be using it to take measurements, holds a solid or a liquid that will not release gas when it reacts with something and is unlikely to splatter or be stirred. This is an Erlenmeyer flask. Notice its tapered neck but wide base. This is a Florence flask. Notice it has a very long neck and a flat base with a bulb rounded bottom. This is a graduated cylinder. Notice it does have markings on it, so it will be used to take measurements. These are test tubes. These test tubes are your primary ones. They're 13 by 100 millimeter test tubes. These are much smaller test tubes, 10 by 75. And this is known as an ignition tube. It is a very large, high temperature test tube. This is a test tube holder, so that you don't have to handle things that are too hot. These are test tube or even graduated cylinder brushes so that you can get out any residue from the bottom. These are test tube racks that are used to hold the test tube so that you don't have to continually hold them as you do your lab testing. This is a rubber stopper. It is used to plug any flask or graduated cylinder or even test tube. This is a Petri dish. It has a flat, shallow dish made of glass or plastic and is used for a variety of things, including growing molds and bacteria. These are spot plates, also called well trays, and we're going to use those for very small scale reactions to see multiple reactions at a time. This is known as a watch glass. It's a curved glass tray for very small reactions that don't produce a lot of gas. This is a stirring rod. It can be glass or plastic. It can also be used to transfer a single drop of a liquid from one thing to another. This is a medicine dropper. It's got a rubber stopper on the end or a rubber bulb on a glass or hard plastic dropper. These are pipettes. They're used to transfer small quantities of liquid from one liquid to another. Most of these are disposable. These are forceps or tweezers used to pick up small objects. This is a funnel used to transfer liquids from one container to another. This is a Moore pipette. It is very, very precise, used to deliver exact volumes of liquid. A wash bottle is used to wash out a specific area. Distilled water is the only water that should be used in a wash bottle. This is a weigh boat. It's a very thin plastic that can be put on any digital scale to be so that you could weigh a solid or a granule. This is a spatula. A spatula is used to transfer solids from one container to another. These are beaker tongs. They're rubber insulated to pick up beakers. This is a burner. The one on the left is a Bunsen burner, has to be attached to natural gas. The one on the bottom right is an alcohol burner. It has alcohol in the bottom and you simply light the fuse like a candle. This is an evaporating dish, a crucible, a clay triangle, crucible tongs. Notice they are not insulated and you should never pick up a beaker with a crucible tong. They're only used to pick up crucibles. This is a glass plate. It is instead of using a watch glass, this is just a flat glass plate used for testing simple drop reactions. This is an electronic balance. This is a ring stand. It has many components. It has iron rings that are attached to it. It has a utility clamp that can be attached to it to hold a test tube. A striker is used to light a Bunsen burner. Now let's talk about those measurements. We're going to be looking at graduated cylinders and beakers. In order to measure a liquid, the liquid surface is curved. It's got a U shape rather than horizontal because it's relatively strong attractive force between water and glass. The curved surface is known as the meniscus. As a general rule, the bottom of the meniscus is taken as the liquid level in the cylinder and any other liquid volume measuring device. The graduates are labeled measures. The subgraduates must be determined because they're the scale. They're what you're counting by. In this example, there are 10 subgraduates between the graduates of 50 and 60 milliliters. That means you're counting by ones. So when you measure the meniscus, it would be at 55 milliliters. Measuring the liquid in this beaker, however, there is one subgraduate between 100 and 200. That means you're counting by 50s. The meniscus shows a liquid level of approximately 375 milliliters. That's as close as we can get.